This video is sponsored by sellcashier.com. They compare iPhone prices on the internet and give you their instant quote and the most cash for your iPhone. Hey guys, this is Ed with Aquarium. As always, I'm extremely excited to be here with you today. Since many of you requested a comparison between a fake and a real iPhone XS Max in my previous videos, in today's videos I decided to compare the quality and features of a few-week-old fake iPhone XS Max and a brand new iPhone XS Max by Apple that was released fairly recently. Please enjoy this comparison video and see all the differences for yourself. And by the way, at the end of this video, I will let you guys know all the rules of this fake XS Max giveaway. And without further ado, let's go ahead and cut this packaging open. What you have in front of you here, this is a real XS Max in gold. This is a 64GB variant that we're going to use to compare this device against and see how well this works. And just to give you an idea of what you'll see in the next video, you're going to see some final hints and tips as to what to expect if you're buying one of these off the street. So it'll give you an idea of what to be aware of. Alright guys, so this is what we have in the packaging. Just to let you know that just the other day I unboxed the fake XR made by some unknown company in China, and it actually came from Korea, and so did this one. This one actually came from Korea, although on the box you can clearly say that this was made in China. We don't obviously trust these boxes, we don't know where they really come from, but the point is that this time around, for the second time in the last 4 years, this did come from Korea, not from China, even though that's where it was probably made. So let's go ahead and open this. There's a fairly good quality picture on the box, although the box has bent edges, so that's another sign for you, because boxes by Apple look very, very nice. They're very high quality. So we're gonna set that aside. You will never see this in the packaging. So this is a screen protector. Obviously not gonna worry about that. The usual inserts with a SIM removal tool. Some of these fake iPhones come without these, so not gonna worry about that. And this is what we're really interested in. This is the actual device. So let's go ahead and take it out of this plastic wrap, not the kind of wrap you would see from an Apple as a manufacturer. Screen protector that's not all around, it just covers the front surface, and also you have one in the back that has some image on it, or actually a couple rather, but we also don't care about that. And before I compare these side by side, let's just take a look at the contents. Cheap headphones, not going to use them. These cables do work. It's neatly packaged, more neat than usual, and the charging block. So just the usual accessories, and really the quality of the box is so-so, but not going to worry about that. What we're really concerned about is the actual handset that we're going to look at. Alright, and so this is what it looks like. This is the fake one, this is the real one by Apple. Both of these are XS Max, except this is real and this is fake. Look at the color. The color on the real one is gold, and this is supposedly gold, but really it's not as pleasant of a color. It has this pinkish tint to it, although the camera bezels all around here, they kind of look gold. So the frame is also a different shade of gold. The button location is completely identical, although they're slightly slanted on the real one, but they're completely flat on the fake one. Also, the fake one does have the silence button here that moves around left and right fairly well, so we're gonna look at that later. And the location of the SIM tray is very closely matching, although not identical, not completely identical, to the real XS Max here on the right. On the XR that was fake, it was actually all the way down here. So assuming that this is coming from the same factory, this is just a technological difference due to where the components are located inside. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to turn both of them on, and we're going to time and figure out how long they're going to boot up. There is a chance that this is going to do a little bit better simply because it's an Android, and Androids will sometimes start a little bit quicker. This might take a little bit longer. Just keep in mind, this is the real iPhone XS Max by Apple. So the colors are somewhat similar in terms of the black background and the white or gray apple in this real one. On the XR that was fake, it was completely reversed. It was a white background with a black apple like on the older iPhones. But let's see how long it takes for both of them to boot up. And here it is, the XS Max, the flagship phone by Apple, turned on first. So of course this is going to be the winner, and we're going to get into a little bit more details about how this works. This pop-up that you saw on the screen is unique to Android, so I'm going to quickly set this up to make sure that we can get onto the home screen and start our comparison. Alright guys, and just a couple of housekeeping things here. Just note that the background straight out of the box on the home screen is going to be that of the previous generation iPhones. So this is what you get on a XS Max that is made by Apple, and this is what you get on a fake one, and this is one of the first signs that this is not real. Also, I just installed a couple of apps to test this out, to see how this device operates and how it works, and this is where I actually found the App Store to download the apps. So unfortunately, and I guess fortunately for you, if you were to test it out and figure out if this is a fake device, this is actually a Google Play Store. So you know that you are not going to be using that on the real iPhone by Apple. So just a thing to remember, and I will tell you also that the interface on this is absolutely horrific. It is extremely slow, it's extremely patchy, and it's very, very difficult to operate. It's actually a much worse fake than the XR that was fake. It was a little bit easier to operate though, so there's a lot of lagging to this phone. And before we test out how quickly these phones open weather.com, and remember, weather.com is a very information-rich website with a lot of scripts in the background, so some phones will actually struggle to open it like some of the fake devices that we've seen in the past. But also want to point your attention to the bezels around the screen. The bezels around the screen on the real iPhone XS Max are even all around. However, on the fake one, you actually do get a thicker bezel on the bottom edge of the screen here. So that's another thing that you should remember if you're looking at one of these devices. Very remarkable that finally they're trying so hard to match the appearance of the fake devices they're producing, to match it to what Apple is producing. So look at the top recess here. It's almost identical in shape and size, and so this area of the screen is actually usable. But just take a look at the top one on the right. It actually has the battery on the right, and then going left you actually have the Wi-Fi, and then you have the cellular connection. On this one it's completely backwards. It's actually battery on the right going right to left, and then you have your cell phone connection, and then you also have your Wi-Fi, but the order is actually not the same as on the real iPhone. So that's another thing to remember for you. So let's go ahead and open up weather.com, and we'll see how quickly these phones will perform when you're going to be browsing some information-rich websites. So iPhone by Apple is of course the winner. This didn't do too poorly, so it actually opened the layout of the web page almost instantaneously, lagging behind by just a couple of seconds behind the Apple iPhone XS Max. However, you don't see everything on the screen. You don't get the temperature yet. You don't have the graphics for the time of the day. So this is our moon, and you don't have that here, and you don't have the temperature. So this is definitely a winner. Then we'll take a look at YouTube, but before we do that, notice the color of the keyboard. It's actually black and the letters are white, and if you look at the real iPhone, it is black letters on white keys. So just remember that. We're going to cancel out of that and open Taqvarium on YouTube, and we're going to look at this fake Galaxy S7 video, and again we're going to try to time and see which phone opens the video better. And again, the winner is going to be the iPhone XS Max by Apple. This is the original flagship by Apple, and it works faster. This is trailing behind by just a couple of seconds here, but just remember, you're not going to be getting this pleasant experience of browsing on this phone. And the next thing I want to show you is this is what happens when you swipe up from the bottom of the screen on a real iPhone XS Max, and you can close out of it, and this is almost instantaneous. It's very smooth and very fluid interface there. This is what's going to happen when I do this on this fake XS Max. Notice how patchy it is. Notice how difficult it is. In order to get this screen, I actually have to swipe up again from the bottom of the screen, and only then I can move it around and go to another one if it was open previously, and then I can close out of it the same way. So it lags around. It's not a winner so far in any of these simple tests. And the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to do something a little bit more involved and a little bit more objective. We're going to run the CPU test, and this will hopefully give us an objective benchmark score that we can compare against this real Apple iPhone XS Max. But just notice that the operating system on this fake XS Max is actually Android 7.0 with the ARM processor model MT6580, which is installed on a lot of these fake iPhones. So this is another thing to remember. Install the Geekbench 4 and you're gonna know right off the bat that this is not a real phone. And by the way, it says model Samsung XS Max, so that's a fake. Alright guys, and here are the results, and it's really not worth mentioning the disparity between the actual numerical values here, but I will mention it just for the sake of it. This performs 10 times better, or this performs 10 times worse than the real Apple iPhone. So these are the numbers, and Geekbench 4 is probably one of the best things you can actually do to test these out and figure out, to tell them apart from the real ones. Because it tells you the operating system, it tells you the model, that's absolutely fake in here. It does say that it's a Samsung, and it tells you that the motherboard is Apple A12. Well, we know that A12 Bionic is the actual processor, it's the CPU made by Apple. So clearly this is the winner in this comparison, and we're going to move on into the next test. Prior to getting to the 3D Mark, which is the gamer's benchmark, that gives you some idea of the visual performance of virtually any cell phone that has a graphics processor and a fairly powerful or not so powerful CPU. I just want to show you how the maps work, and the way that this works, you can essentially approximate this to any not CPU demanding game like Angry Birds. I will not waste your time showing you that, and I will show you how the maps work. So basically this is what happens when you double tap on the screen. This is how smoothly it magnifies on the real Apple iPhone, and technically you take any of the newer Apple iPhones, this is what you're going to see. You're going to move things around, you're going to magnify, you're going to zoom out, and it's going to continue being very, very smooth. Well, it's hardly the case with this handset over here. When you double tap, this is how patchy it is. It's not smooth, it takes a little bit of time to load things up, and this is what we're struggling with. If you're trying to navigate, at least this is in English. This is actually in English. The XR that was fake was actually in Chinese, and of course this is Google Maps by default installed, and this is why you see Google on the bottom left corner here. So again, this is going to be the winner here. This is the iPhone XS Max by Apple. So this is going to be the last comparison. Part of the issue with this phone, its processor is not able to run Slingshot or the Slingshot Extreme, which is what I usually use to run on all these phones and basically compare them side by side. So a comparable test for this phone that's available would be the Ice Storm Extreme, and on this phone it would be Slingshot Extreme. So what we're going to do is we're going to run side by side, but we will basically look at the visualization of the actual test, and then we'll look at the numerical score, and that should be fairly representative of the disparity between the processing power on these two devices. Alright guys, so under a comparable load, these are the results. This actually performs slightly better. It may be as a result of a different test, but it does run very similar sections. It essentially does the CPU score, the graphics score, and then you have the physics score, and then that forms the overall score for the test. I've tested a bunch of these with this particular test, which is a Slingshot Extreme. All these new iPhones, they essentially score around 3,500. Take into account that this is a bigger screen with a smaller or less powerful processor, so the XR actually performed slightly better, just at least visually, but this phone did so poorly that the frames per second were actually as low as 4. This is definitely the winner. Just watch out for this fake, and this is the real iPhone XS Max by Apple. This is the winner. Finally, as a conclusion, just make sure you don't spend money on this. Make sure that you go a few generations in the past and get one of those real Apple iPhones, whether it's a 6, a 6S, a 7, or an 8. This will save you money in the long run. This is not going to make you happy whether you browse the web, you run the benchmarks, you try to do some gaming, or even watch YouTube videos. This will give you a lot of hard time and just simply running it and operating it. Now, if you have some questions, please post those down below, and I will do my best to get back to you. Now, if you enjoyed this video, show some love to that like button down below, and make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have enjoyed this comparison video. Stay classy, and see you guys in my next Aquarium video very soon. Alright guys, and here are the rules of the giveaway. And guys, please follow these steps if you want to have a chance to win. First, you have to subscribe to my channel on YouTube. The first and unedited and the correct answer, and not a reply, and I repeat, the first and unedited correct answer will win this giveaway.
I do reserve the right to pick the winner who has done all of these steps. You must also follow me on Twitter and retweet my tweet with this puzzle picture on your Twitter account. And finally, I will only ship this phone to the continental United States, or as long as you have a friend with a US address, then you can participate from anywhere. Now, if the winner does not claim their prize within 1 week, then the prize will go to the next person who followed all of the rules. I repeat, all the rules. Good luck, everyone.
I wanted to tell you about sellcashier.com. So you just got your new iPhone. What will you do with your old one? You may be thinking of selling it on eBay, Craigslist, and so on, and it is definitely a hassle. Now you don't have to do that. Now you can sell it through sellcashier.com. They compare the actual prices of iPhones and give you the best price for your iPhone that you are trying to sell. And the good thing is that you are guaranteed the best rate. You also get a free shipping label. Thank you for watching, and please check out sellcashier.com.